Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and this is Create Your Own Cozy. On this week's video, my family is taking some R&R at Myrtle Beach, and by the time you see this, we will be heading back. I went ahead and did all the projects before I left and did the voiceover and this intro so that you can see this beautiful Myrtle Beach in the background. I did all the projects in this week's video from the Labels Masterboard Decoupage Paper from Royce at Roycycled Papers. Go check out Sonnet at Sonnet's Garden Blooms. I will put a link in the description box below so that you can order the same paper. So many possibilities of projects you can get done with this, and I still have so many more after this week's video. So if you want to see what I did, stick around. So project one is going to be a grouping of amber bottles that a friend gave me. There's nothing like truly antique or vintage about them. In fact, I found a couple of them on Amazon for like between $3 and $4, but I still wanted to bring them into my booth. So I got out my trusted decoupage medium DIY liquid patina. And then I cut out the label. I went literal around the label because I thought this is what a label would look like. It would be cut around the edges. Just put the liquid patina on the back, put it where I wanted, made sure it was nice and adhered to the glass, and then did one coat of the liquid patina over the top. If it was not heavily gluing, so to speak, I would make sure that it had plenty of the medium on it. Just go over the top, and then wherever it overlapped the glass, where the sheen would be a little different, I went over it with a baby wipe. And this was a pretty quick and easy way to update these amber bottles to be a little bit more spooky for Halloween with some of the labels. I was probably overthinking to make sure I only used labels that insinuated a liquid or a potion of some sort. If it said powder, it didn't make sense to go into these little jars. I was probably overthinking it, but I wanted it to be somewhat realistic. So I did this little grouping and thought that it was a nice updated way to use these jars. What do you guys think? Project number 2 is a faux leather wood topped box that I thrifted a while back. Thought this would look kind of cool in like a Halloween or a fall grouping. It was $2.99. Figured the wood part would totally bleed, but I went over the whole thing with a darker color so I wouldn't have to worry about the bleed through. Weathered wood, did 2 solid coats using my Little Dipper DIY paintbrush and just getting nice solid layers on. Now I cut out the labels that I wanted to use, painted the back of them white so that they were a little bit more vibrant against the dark painted color. I did not paint the back of the labels for the amber glass jars because I wanted it to kind of have that old look like it had just been there with the amber bottle. But this one, the box was painted such a dark color, I wanted to be able to read the labels well. So I painted one coat of white paint on the back, let it dry completely, and then decoupaged it straight onto the box using liquid patina. You can see here that I did get a little bit of paint on the front of the label, but I'm going to go over this whole box with dark wax, including the spot on the label, and quite honestly, I think it makes it look a little bit more authentic, like there's some mess ups because it's an old box. So I went with it, which is what I usually do. I do not take myself too seriously when I'm creating. It has definitely been helpful throughout the years to realize that sometimes these little mistakes are just like, I don't know, as Bob Ross would say, happy little accidents that help make it more authentic or make it look more handmade. So DIY paint is a clay-based paint that needs to be sealed once it's finished. So I ended up using the liquid patina to seal the entire piece so that the sheen over the decoupage paper and the paint was the same and it looked like it went all together. So you could either use Big Top or liquid patina, and I am pretty happy with the results. The bottle from project number 3 reminded me of the same shape of the amber bottles that I had. It still had some liquid in it, and apparently I thrifted it for $2. I probably shouldn't have paid that, but whatevs. So I painted 2 coats of weathered wood on the outside of this bottle, thinking that it would be a really good bottle to put some yard cuttings or some type of your fall foliage. You can put some water in this bottle and put it in your home and have it be this nice, beautiful fall decor. So I did 2 coats of weathered wood, and then I did go over the whole thing with, oh, no, I didn't. Thought I was using Big Top on this one. I painted the back of this label white, just like I did the other one, and then put liquid patina on the back of it, made sure it was adhered nice and smooth to the bottle, put the liquid patina on top of the label, and then did again this whole painted space with the liquid patina for the top coat. I also painted the lid the same color just to make it look more authentic, and then I went over the whole thing with some dark wax just to give it a little bit more grunge. And I think this, considering, listen, you could probably get these little bottles for free. I don't know why I thrifted it. But from your kitchen leftovers, can you imagine, like, if you could just make a bunch of fun little places to put twigs or stuff from the yard? What a fun little project this would be. I go through these seasons of having kombucha, which is there's like a probiotic in there, and I don't always have kombucha, but when I do, I grab them in the amber bottles. So I soaked these bottles in hot water, some soap, and I'm just using these little scrapers from the Dollar Tree to get off all the glue, and found that this worked really well. It was, listen, the bottles were technically free because I consumed what was in them, but you can see that I just cleaned them up. I did a little slice on this one, but I wasn't gonna leave it, guys. I really like this one. So I put liquid patina on the back and then on the front. Again, I did not paint the back of these white. I like how old they look on top of the amber. But right here you can see I am just going to piece this little label back into place. And you never knew that I got a little messy with my cutting and messed it up. So just clean up the edges so you don't have like your glue marks. And this would be another fun thing to just grab cuttings or stuff out of your yard and make a little grouping. Really loving the free nature of this and how you can update bottles that aren't necessarily vintage and make them look like you have a fun little found collection. For the fifth and final project in this week's video, I found this little chest at the thrift store. I love the shape of it, but did not like this hand-painted fruit decor. It is just not my style. So decided to go over this whole thing with 2 coats of black velvet. You can see that this covers super well. I just went as far as covering the color. I just did 2 coats just so you couldn't see any of the indentation from the actual paint sticking up. I did end up wet distressing over this gold space and letting these little knobs come through. I thought that was a really fun look. But you'll see here that even on my smalls, I like to use my water mister. And especially with the second coat. First coat, I don't often use it, but with the second coat, I like to mist it so that it limits or reduces the brush strokes. In this one, I'm using the Perfectionist DIY paintbrush to get in all the nooks and crannies and to get some nice smooth brush strokes. Now, these are the pieces that I'm going to use. The labels I did straight cuts, but these little decorative pieces I just went along the edge with a wet paintbrush so that I could pull away the paper so that it was not a fresh cut, so to speak. So it's a little bit more of a messy cut, and this is the look I thought would look good with these little guys. So I did paint the back of these white because it is going over black paint, and decoupage them all over this box. And guys, I think this one is my favorite. Just think it's really cute and a fun little way to have a slightly spooky decor without being so in your face. And again, what a great place to hide some of that candy that you get early in the season that you know is not going to last till Halloween. But you know what I mean? It can be like your little stash. Am I the only one that does that? Let me know in the comments below. So did you guys have a favorite? I know my favorite was definitely the 5th project. Apparently I keep showing my best project last on these videos, but I really enjoyed that little trunk with all the papers. Again, could use as many of the labels as I wanted to because there's plenty left over. I can get so many projects out of this paper. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite project was, and if you want to grab this paper for yourself, go ahead and check out Sonnet at Sonnet's Garden Blooms. We are finishing up a week with my in-laws and my whole family. Tomorrow, my husband and I will be celebrating our 17th wedding anniversary. I think he has a little bit of a massage. He said a 90-minute couples massage. So I am definitely looking forward to some R&R. Real quick, you know, being on vacation with your kids, you kind of need a vacation from the vacation sometimes. So I am looking forward to that day tomorrow with just him, and thankful that my in-laws are on this trip and are gonna handle the kiddos while we get some time just to ourselves. So thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. I look forward to getting back into the swing of things starting next week and getting on some more DIY projects. If you are not already following me, please consider subscribing to my channel, hitting that notification bell to all so you get notified every time I upload a new video. And I am so thankful you guys are here. Do not forget to create for yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.